there's not really much evidence of the craziness that happened on 14th Street this weekend. Everybody's kind of quiet. There's really nobody out, but that may be the evidence itself. Nobody wants to come out on 14th Street if this is sort of ground zero for a government takeover. I'll grant you, it's a little early, but for a Sunday morning, it is pretty quiet out today. Now, part of the reason that we're seeing such small crowds here, as I've heard, is that right here at this intersection and the next intersection up, the federal government has been putting out roadblocks at night and really kind of killing off traffic and making people sort of scared to come to this neighborhood, which is usually just one of the most thriving hotspots in the city. Also, kind of being one of the places where people really like to congregate on a weekend evening, it's also not super well known for its crime. Opportunity crime, maybe. If you leave something out, it might get stolen. But not so much the violent crime that would indicate or require some sort of a military presence or a heavy police presence. Now, about 10 to 15 years ago, there was a really big shift on 14th Street in particular, where you saw a lot of these smaller buildings kind of disappear and get replaced by these taller buildings that you see behind me. These bigger apartment buildings with these sort of luxury apartments in them. And the price per square foot of the ground space here became so high it actually eventually eclipsed Georgetown as the most expensive place per square foot in the entire city. As a result, you see this huge growth of restaurants and bars on the street, which had always sort of been here, but they became a lot fancier. And especially on a Sunday morning, you'd usually see a huge crowd out here going to brunch and generally enjoying their Sunday morning. Hopefully over the next couple of hours, things will wake up a little bit, people will start to come out. Word has gotten out that 14th Street is hurting a little bit because nobody's here. So we like to take care of our businesses, so maybe that will have an impact. Now, part of the reason that we're seeing such small crowds here, as I've heard, is that right here at this intersection and the next intersection up, the federal government has been putting out roadblocks at night and really kind of killing off traffic and making people sort of scared to come to this neighborhood, which is usually just one of the most thriving hotspots in the city. Like I said, there haven't been a ton of violent crimes, but if you wanted to say stop the opportunity crime, stop the only crimes that really are happening, you'd probably be a little closer to my neighborhood. But they're not. Nobody's there. So that does send us a pretty clear message. What is important about that intersection, though, is those big high-rise buildings, which are full of people who own expensive cell phones and will come out and take video and post it on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, things like that. By setting up and making a lot of noise at 14th and T, 14th and U, right at these really high-traffic intersections where all of these people live who have cameras and access to the internet, what you're going to do is make sure that word gets out that you are doing this and you are doing it big and you are doing it loud. And if that's the intention, well then, mission accomplished. There's probably a reason you're doing that, perhaps to change the topic from something else that the media's been focused on. We have not been talking about a certain scandal over the last few days, and this may be why. And I'll grant you it's a little early, but it's pretty quiet out here for a Sunday. Sunday's usually kind of the last day of the weekend, so everybody hits here pretty hard. Hopefully over the next couple of hours, things will wake up a little bit. People maybe come out. All right, now we're back to my little neighborhood. Let me know whether you had noticed that this was all going on 14th Street and whether you had any context for it otherwise. Keep following me for more stories about law and government, and I will keep bringing them to you.